Look, I want to take you all with me to California because let's be honest, that's a place where SHTF is most likely going to happen. But I mean, you're awesome, but according to them, you're just hella short, bride, so it's not going to work out. And then you, I mean, I don't have 10-round magazines for you, and you have a threaded barrel, and I can't take you with me. And then there's you. I mean, look at you. You have all the features. I can't just bring things with features with me to California. What is my loadout going to be for this freaking restrictive state? What's up, everybody? It's Magic Prepper, and I'm hella going to California here very soon for a road trip. And I'm like, what is my SHTF loadout going to be for this trip while I still want to maintain my ability to be a law-abiding citizen and my ability to defend myself and my family in one of the states that's most likely prone to a real SHTF scenario? It's kind of a pickle, so I figured I'd give you some of the choices I made to maybe help you decide on any of your future trips or any of your situation if you live in a state like California, and just give you some of the rundown of what I had to choose from based on what I had. I'm not going to go out and buy a bunch of rifles and handguns based on the fact that I'm going to make a trip to a state one time, right? But I am going to try my best to maintain my legality while also being capable if things fall apart while I'm over there in no man's land, which is every man's land. And at the same time, give you some cool ideas about firearms, because that's what we like to talk about, right? First and foremost, none of my rifles fit the bill. They're all completely illegal in California. And I thought, you know, hey, an AR pistol would be great. Throw it in a backpack, easy to have in the vehicle. Can't bring it with me, not gonna happen. So, firearm of choice based on what I have and based on capability is the Mossberg 500 you see right here. Now this is a Mossberg 500 American field model that I have an 18.5-inch barrel on in order to be a little bit more capable for self-defense purposes and maintaining legality within California, because as you know, anything shorter than 18 inches is not legal there. And at the same time, it has the SGA Magpul stock, which is a nice comfortable stock that has some additional capability, but none of the scary stuff like pistol grips and whatnot, which that's a whole different conversation, but at the end of the day, I just don't need to deal with any of that, right? And now, it has a Streamlight Tracker forend, which is a illuminated forend, which is awesome, actually, a really nice addition to any Mossberg 500 or Remington 870. If you haven't checked these out for the price, they are super legit, so I would definitely take a look. Got a random STI sling on here that just does the job, GG and GQD mount, and then I have S-Tac shotgun cards right here on the side. These ones hold 6 rounds, which would be your 5 in the tube plus 1 in the chamber if I needed to do a full reload, and they're the simplest way to get shells back onto your shotgun and back into the fight if need be, because they just come right off here, and then you can slap on a new round right here, no problem, and you're good to go. So, all in all, what's nice about this is that this is completely California legal. I don't have any problems bringing this into the state. I'm not breaking any laws. But if SHTF happens, yes, I'll be upset that I don't have one of my ARs or anything that's slightly more capable than a 12-gauge shotgun, but I will also have a 12-gauge shotgun. So in urban environments, it can definitely handle itself, and for survival purposes, I'll have many different loadings with me that can do things like take birds or squirrels or whatever it might be, and at the same time take out a California black bear if that's what it comes down to, because we know the brown ones don't exist anymore. Don't try to lie to anybody, California. Now, this was my choice for my primary firearm. This is the best I could do within the parameters I was given by a state that doesn't understand guns and how they work, but here they are. This is what I'm gonna do the best I can with, and if things fall apart, I'll definitely feel better about having this than nothing at all, okay? Now, moving on from there, the handgun selection was a little bit interesting. So here's the thing, okay? I could get a 10-round magazine for just about any of my handguns, right? And some of them aren't legal even with that, like my Sig P227 X-Carry Legion, which is not legal because of its threaded barrel. I could buy another barrel, but that's around $180. So instead of buying another barrel, I'm gonna use a different gun that I already had that comes stock with 10-round magazines. And why that matters is because buying 10-round neutered magazines for firearms that weren't necessarily designed for them can cause reliability issues sometimes. It's not always, and of course there are plenty of guns out there that have 10-round magazines that work generally fine, but it has been found that at times those magazines that have been modified and pinned in order to only accept 10 rounds no matter what can have issues with reliability just because that's not how they were originally designed, which is a problem with a lot of guns in California that have loaded chamber indicators and have magazine safety disconnects and all kinds of stuff where it's not really necessary for the firearm, but it's required by law to exist there, and it suddenly doesn't operate as well as its other counterpart with none of those things. So that is something to keep in mind, which is why I went with the Sig Sauer P227. This is a P227 carry model. This is unloaded and safe, so you don't have to freak out about it. We'll go ahead and decock it there. And just so you're aware, just in case to make everybody happy, the shotgun was also unloaded with the safety on, but I know somebody was gonna freak out about it, and I figured I'd just share that just to make sure we know we're doing things safely here, right? Now, the P227 carry, which is what this is a single or a double action, single action pistol, which basically means that you can pull the trigger to have a double action trigger pull on the first shot. Once that shot goes off, the slide comes back. Now it's cocked fully for you automatically in single action mode. And this is what a lot of your hammer fired pistols are, especially ones that are more common like the Beretta M9 that was used in the military for a long time. Now, what's nice about this is basically once it is cocked and you have a round in the chamber, you just decock it, and now you would have a double action heavy trigger pull in order to get that first shot off, which is basically the way it gets away with not having a manual safety. Now, this Sig P227 is a 45 caliber handgun, 45 ACP, which holds 10 rounds in the magazine. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot for a double stack of this size, because this is basically a full-size handgun with a carry size barrel. It's a 3.9-inch barrel. The gun itself weighs 30.5 ounces unloaded, and it is kind of hefty, but it also is a real handgun. So if things really do go down, I'm not walking around with a tiny little micro pistol or something of that nature. This is a duty quality, ready to go firearm that's fully standard with 10 round magazines, as you can see. Now, that being said, this was my compromise. I wanted a real pistol, something that would do the job, but also that's not necessarily neutered. And this firearm is not neutered by any means. A lot of people didn't like the 227 because they said, well, how come they didn't put a 12, 13, or 15 round magazine in it like some of the Glocks out there, or M&Ps, or even the FN45, right? The FNX45 has a 15 round magazine. Well, it's because they kept the grip as low profile as they possibly could, and it actually feels very close to a P226, which is hard to accomplish with a 45 caliber magazine. So they did a very good job with that, and the sacrifice was having slightly lower round count. But for this purpose of having it for California purposes, it's amazingly perfect because it has a 10 round magazine. So this firearm, I don't believe you could have purchased it in California because it wasn't on the handgun roster, but I can definitely bring it there and have my 10 round magazines and not be breaking the law, and have a fully capable, duty capable handgun that can handle SHTF circumstances if that's what it came down to. It's got the Sig Light night sights, and honestly, I've shot this gun quite a bit at this point, and it shoots great. I've got a Streamlight TLR1 HL on it, which is a super quality handgun flashlight. It's not quite a Surefire X300, but it's also a third of the price, and it simply just does the job, no problem at all. Now, this is my California loadout. When it comes to firearms, that's what I'll have with me, because I'm not breaking the law, which some of you may or may not care about, but for me, I'm just gonna do the best I can to be a stand-up citizen, I guess, and at the same time, still capable. If I had to run around an SHTF with this 12 gauge with its light and its STAC cards and everything it has, and I had to run around with this Sig P227 carry, which is a 45 ACP monster of a handgun, which is a great shooter and completely capable, I'm not gonna feel bad about it. I'm gonna feel pretty good and pretty well secured based on circumstance. Would I miss my ARs? Yeah. Would I miss my P320 or my Glock 45? Yeah. But am I gonna be better off than if I brought nothing at all, or something really small, or you know, something that wouldn't actually do the job of being duty quality SHTF ready firearms? That's what you gotta think about. So, hopefully this was interesting. Hopefully this gave you something to think about. Just wanted to share it with y'all because I thought it was kind of just a fun topic to discuss. And hopefully when I'm in California, I'll be getting some video footage of some of their silliness when it comes to the way that their firearms works. And that way all of you can kind of just be a little bit more glad of where you are right now versus being there. The other thing to keep in mind is that This video is going to come out probably once I've already returned from the trip, so don't get any ideas about trying to steal my shotgun and my handgun out of my car that you don't know which one I'm driving in order to, you know, come up a little bit based on Magic Prepper releasing all of his OPSEC, because I do have some level of OPSEC, okay? Without anything else to say about it, that's it for Magic Prepper.